राम सर्वेभ्यः हृत्पूर्वक नमस्काराः। प्रवेशकक्ष्यायां सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। गतसप्ताहे अस्माभिः द्वितीयः पाठः पठितः। अद्यापि वयं द्वितीयं पाठं पठिष्यामः। प्रथमतः गुरुवन्दनम् उक्त्वा प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। A very warm welcome to all of you to class 32 of Pravesha. So last class we all commenced learning the second lesson. So let us continue learning lesson 2 today after a quick recap of what we have done in the previous week. As usual, we will begin with Guru Vandanam and Mangala Shlokaha. All of you please sit up straight. Take a deep breath. Let us begin by chanting. Gurureva gatir gurumeva bhaji Gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave Na guro paramam shishurasmi guroho Matirasti gurau mama pahi guru Bravimi samskritam vacha Dhyayami samskritam hrida Kurve sevancha kayena Vande samskrita mataram Yonaras samskrita vyomnihyalayam Ramate muda Samskritim chaiva samskaram vindate natra samshayah. Dvitiyah pathah suktihi, wise saying Kshanashah kanashashchaiva Vidyamarthancha sadhayet Kshanathyage kuto vidya Kanathyage kuto dhanam. We learnt this in the previous class. A quick recap. As you all know, we have only the first line in the Pravesha textbook. Kshanashaha kanashashchaiva Vidyam arthancha sadhayet. Kshanashaha Kanashaha cha eva vidyam artham cha sadhayet. So let us note the words clearly here. Here it is ksha. This is a samyukta aksharam. And here it is ka. The difference is kshanashaha, moment by moment. Kanashaha, grain by grain. Cha is and. So we learnt the meaning also. Knowledge should be earned moment by moment, and wealth should be earned grain by grain or bit by bit, meaning we are not supposed to waste even a single moment or a single grain or a single bit of wealth. And to earn knowledge, unless we utilize every moment fruitfully, it would not be possible. Similarly, to gain wealth rightfully, according to dharma, if we go on frittering away wealth or wasting wealth, then we will not be able to gain wealth and use it for good causes. This is the gist. We learned that the second line is a part of the Subhashitam, which is not there in the textbook, but it's good for you to know the entire Subhashitam. Vartamana kalaha madhyama purushaha ekavachanam madhyama purushe kriyapadam katham bhavati iti vayam pathitavantaha पठितवत्यः च गतसप्ताहे. इदानीं उदाहरणानि अत्र पश्यामः. कानिचन वाक्यानि सम्पूर्णतया न ब्रवीमि, सम्पूर्णतया गतसप्ताहे कृतं खलु. So I am not going to repeat the entire lesson, just a few examples of sentences we have done in detail last Sunday, so you can go back and revisit the class if you have any doubts. Tvam pathasi, Tvam namasi, Tvam vadasi, Tvam pashyasi, Tvam pibasi. Tvam pruchhasi. Tvam dhavasi. Tvam tishthasi. Tvam atasi. Tvam kridasi. Tvam khadasi. Atra vakyani madhyamapurushe ekavachane santi. Madhyamapurushah ityukte आङ्ग्लभाषायां second person iti vadamaha. You iti. You both, you all. Samskritabhashayam madhyamapurushah iti uchyate. Tatra tvam yuvam yuyam iti padani. Tvam ityukte you, yuvam, you both, you yuyam, you all. So whenever we use tvam yuvam yuyam, we use madhyamapurusha. Idanim bahuvachana vakyani pashyamaha. Yuyam pathatha. Yuyam namatha. Tatra Angla bhashayam atra diyate pashyantu sarve kripaya pathantu. Gata saptahe Angla bhashayam api asmabhihi pathitam. Idanim tatra ganakayantre va yatra pashyanti bhavantas sarve bhavatyas sarve tatraiva pathantu Angla bhashayam api. Yuyam namatha, yuyam vadatha, yuyam pashyatha, yuyam pibatha, yuyam pruchhatha, yuyam dhavatha, yuyam tishthatha, yuyam atatha, yuyam kridatha, yuyam khadatha. Sarve uchchaihi pathantu. Please read loudly. You should get familiar with the words. Pruchhatha, dhavatha, tishthatha. That tha mahaprana in the end should be very clear. Sometimes we have two mahapranas like cha and tha here. Tha and tha here. Both have to be very accurately pronounced. You know, in some accounts we read that learning Sanskrit and reciting shlokas, reading Sanskrit texts and verses, it's like, I've seen this expression being used, it's like a facial gym, you know, because so many parts of the face, and of course not just the face, we've all learned the place of origin of letters. So many parts are used while accurately pronouncing the letters. So it stimulates us and it stimulates the mind. And it, of course, stimulates the tongue. It makes a pronunciation very sharp. So, all of you please read aloud, listen, and learn to get the accurate pronunciation. Idanim vartamana kalaha uttama purushaha ekavachanam. Uttama purushaha ityukte Angla bhashayam vayam first person iti vadamaha. First person, we all know. First person ityukte I, we both, we all. Aham, I. Avam, we both. Vayam, we all. Tatra uttama purushe aham avam vayam iti padani vayam prayogam kurmaha. Tatra katham bhavati kriyapadam iti pashyamaha. Uttama purushaha ekavachanam idanim. Aham pathami. Aham namami, aham vadami, aham pashyami, aham pibami, aham khadami, aham gayami, aham ichchami, aham likhami, aham nayami, aham patami. Tatra pathyapustake api Anekani vakyani santi. There are many sentences given in your textbook. Pathya pustakam means textbook. Sarve kripaya pathantu. Tatra savadhanataya pathantu. Angla bhashayam api asti pathya pustake. We are not going to reproduce the entire book here like we've mentioned before. We might give you some extra verbs. We might not cover all the verbs in the textbook, but you can read the others in the textbook also. Uttama purushaha idanim bahuvachanam. Vayam pathamaha. Vayam namamaha. Vayam vadamaha. Vayam Pashyamaha. Vayam pibamaha. Vayam prichhamaha. Vayam dhavamaha. Vayam ichhamaha. Vayam tishtamaha. Vayam atamaha. Vayam kridamaha. इदानीम् अस्मद् युष्मद् शब्दौ. युष्मद् शब्दः त्वं युवां यूयम्. अस्मद् शब्दः अहम् आवां वयम्. प्रथमा विभक्तिः अस्ति अत्र. So we have multiple cases in Sanskrit. We have already learnt this. So case means vibhakti in Sanskrit. विभक्तिः इति वदामः. आङ्ग्लभाषायां केस् इति वदामः. आङ्ग्लभाषायां प्रथमा विभक्तिः nominative case iti bhavati. So in English we say nominative case for those who are familiar with English grammar. In Kannada, I can tell you in Kannada because I have learnt vibhaktis in Kannada. So in Kannada we say again prathama vibhakti, dvitiya vibhakti, same way. I understand it in Telugu also it is same, prathama vibhakti, dvitiya vibhakti. And in Kannada we say U is prathama vibhakti. Like Ramanu. And in Telugu, it would be like Ramudu, you know, where it is the subject. So the doer, karta of the action, or karta, the doer of the action. So similarly, you have in many Indian languages also. So you all, if you have studied Hindi, Tamil, you can see correspondingly, you can see what it is in your language to try to understand better. So here, this tvam, yuvam, yuyam, aham, avam, vayam are in prathama vibhakti. And these words, yushmad and asmad, as we all know, they are called pratipadikam or the root form of the noun. Okay. Tvam pathasi, yuvam pathatha, yuyam pathatha, aham pathami, avam pathavah, vayam pathamaha. One very important tip, because this is the first level. Whenever you see any table, please also pay attention to what is there on the top and on the side here. And while writing, also make it a point to write that. See here, for example, pat. This denotes the dhatu, the root form of the dhatu is the root form of the verb, of the kriya padam. Pat. Ekavachanam, dvivachanam, bahuvachanam. Atra yushmad shabdaha, asmad shabdaha. Evameva sarvatra, you will have multiple tables. Tatra namapadanam krite shabdaha bhavanti, rama shabdaha, rama shabdaha iti. Tatrapi atra ekavachanam, dvivachanam, bahuvachanam bhavati. Atra parshve prathama vibhaktihi, dvitiya vibhaktihi iti bhavati. So please pay attention to the entire table is what I'm trying to convey. Please do not leave out reading the headings and what is there on the side, because that will give you exactly what we are understanding. Which vachana, which vibhakti, or which purusha, etc. This is an important table. I hope you all have memorized it by now. Pat dhatuhu, latlakaraha, parasmai padam, pathati, pathatah, pathanti, pathasi, pathatha, pathatha, pathami, pathavah, pathamaha. So this is how we recite the table. While reciting the table, we don't say ekavachanam pathati, dvivachanam pathatah, bahuvachanam pathanti. We don't do that. That's not the practice. Similarly, we don't say prathama purusha patati, patatah, patanti, madhyama purusha patasi, patatah, patatah. While reciting in the tabular format, we don't say it that way. But it is important for us to know what exactly, if I say pathatha here, for example, you should know exactly it is madhyama purusha dvivachanam. Mentally, you should be very clear. Pathami, uttama purushaha ekavachanam. Pathanti, prathama purushaha bahuvachanam. Okay, so this table we have to memorize. Idanim vakyani vartamana kale. Balakaha pathati बालकौ पठतः बालकाः पठन्ति त्वं पठसि युवां पठथः यूयं पठथ अहं पठामि आवां पठावः वयं पठामः नामपदम् एतदपि अस्माभिः पूर्वमेव पठितम् इदानीं पुनरावर्तनं भवति बालकः बालकौ बालकाः त्वं युवां यूयम् aham avam vayam. So what this table is denoting here, we should be very careful. This is in prathama purusha, that is only for verbs we have purusha. We don't have purushaha for namapadam, right? Only in verbs we have patati, patataha, patanti. We saw madhyama purusha, uttama purusha. So this table is teaching us what is the corresponding noun verb relation. For example, let us start from uttama purusha. Uttama purusha we know is aham avam vayam, right? So these three are used along with uttama purusha verbs. Aham pathami, avam patavaha, vayam pathamaha. So that is how the nouns should be used correspondingly. Then let's go to madhyama purusha. Tvam. So madhyama purusha is always used with you. Tvam yuvam yuyam. Tvam pathasi, yuvam pathatha, yuyam pathatha. Prathama purusha is used wherever madhyama purusha, uttama purusha is not used. So anything, he, she, it, any third person, balakaha, balakau, balakaha. Here we are referring to a boy. So anything other than uttama and madhyama purusha, prathama purusha is used. There is another exception which you will learn in future lessons, but as we are dealing with it, I will share it with you here. So whenever the word bhavan is used, in Sanskritam, bhavan is you with respect. So in Hindi, aap, in Kannada, neevu, in Telugu, meeru. In English, you is the same. I mean, with respect, there is no special word with, with extra respect in English, but aap, if you know Hindi, or like I said, in Kannada, neevu, Telugu, meeru. So for referring to someone elder to you or someone with reverence, we say bhavan for pullinga in Sanskrit, bhavati for strilinga. So whenever bhavan is used, we only use prathama purusha as an exception. This we will learn in future lessons also. There is a sutra called bhavadyoge namadhyamaha sheshe prathamaha, which means bhavadyoge, whenever bhavat is the pratipadikam or the root. Whenever bhavat is used in pullinga, strilinga or napumsakalinga, na madhyamaha, bhavan is used in the sense of you. So the general rule is for second person we use madhyama purusha, but only whenever bhavan or bhavati are used, we should use prathama purusha. Bhavan kripaya vadatu, you please tell. Here vadatu is in prathama purusha. It's a lot lakara, different lakara, which means imperative mood. Or let us see in lat lakara, bhavan gacchati, you go. We should not say bhavan gacchasi. It would be wrong by virtue of this sutra. And bhavati pathati, you read. Bhavati is again with reverence for in strilinga form. Bhavati vadati, you say. There we should not use madhyama purusha, though we are referring to someone in the sense of madhyama purusha. This is an exception. I think it is there in the third or fourth lesson, but anyway, it's good to know now. We'll revisit it. Samyuktaksharani sarve jananti. Vyanjanam plus vyanjanam tatra samyuktaksharam bhavati samyojya. We have learned the different types of samyuktaksharani in the introductory lessons and in the previous class. Now we will move to anuswaraha. Ayogavahaha iti santi iti asmabhihi jnatam khalu tatra prathamameva kritam asmabhihi. Initial classes we did ayogavahaha. Ayogavahaha chatvaraha santi. Anuswaraha, visargaha, jihvamuliyaha, upadvaniyaha iti chatvaraha anuswaraha. There are chatvaraha ayogavaha. There are 4 types of ayogavahas. Anuswara is one among them. So anuswara is represented by this dot on top, or whenever it is followed by a swara or at the end of a sentence, we write m with a halanta. So that is what we just learned. We've learned this previously also. So these are the rules for representing anuswaraha. Sankhyaha, numbers, we learned this. Ekam, dve, त्रीणि, चत्वारि, पञ्च, षट्, सप्त, अष्ट, नव, दश. दश, विंशतिः, त्रिंशत्, चत्वारिंशत्, पञ्चाशत्, षष्टिः, सप्ततिः, अशीतिः, नवतिः, शतम्, 100. सहस्रं, 1000, Laksham, 1 lakh, Kotihi, 1 crore. So how does it go? Just for you to know, it again from Vimshatihi, if you want to say 21, it goes like Eka Vimshatihi, Dva Vimshatihi. Some places there will be a little bit of a difference, but you can learn these very easily. Eka Trimshat, Dva Trimshat, Trayas Trimshat, Chat. So it goes that way. So in Sanskrit, always the units place is said first. For example, when we say, let me say 21. Okay, when we take the number 21, I'm writing it in the usual way we write it, not in Sanskrit. So we say Eka Vimshatihi. So first we say the units place, then we say the tens, then if there is a hundreds, we say hundreds. So we go that way. So first Eka Vimshatihi. Then if it is 22, Dva Vimshatihi. So Dva here refers to the 2 here. And if it is 25, for example, let me write in Sanskrit only here. If it is 25, we say Pancha Vimshatihi. So that is how it goes. Similarly, Eka Saptatihi. So Eka Navatihi, Pancha Navatihi, everything. The rule is the same. First the units place, then tens, then hundreds, then thousands. It goes that way. Next. Vyavaharika Shabdaha. We learned this also in the previous class, different occupations, professions. Chitrakaraha, Chitrakari, Bharavahaha, Bharavahi, Charmakaraha, Charmakari, Karmakaraha, Karmakari, Nartakaha, Nartaki. So you have in Pullinga and Strilinga. Similarly, we have other words. Sainikaha, Sainiki, Lipikaraha, Lipikari, Nataha, Nati, Dhivaraha, Dhivari, Suvarnakaraha, Suvarnakari, Shopkeeper, Apanikaha, Apanika, Seller, Vikrayikaha, Vikrayika, Buyer, Kreyikaha, Kreyika, Cowherd, Gopalakaha, Gopalika, Servant, Sevakaha, Sevika, Teacher, Adhyapakaha, Adhyapika, Driver, Chalakaha, Chalika, Writer, Lekhakaha, Lekhika, Farmer, Krishakaha, Krishika, Manager, Prabandhakaha, Prabandhika, Director, Nirdeshakaha, Nirdeshika, Cook, Pachakaha, Pachika, Police, Arakshakaha, Arakshika, Priest, Archakaha, Archika, Hunter, Vyadhaha, Vyadha, Doctor, Vaidyaha, Vaidya. Okay, then we came to Prahelika. Last time we learnt this. Kimichati narah kashyam bhupanam korane hitaha kovandyas sarvadevanam diyatam ekamuttaram. Kimichati narah kashyam. What does a person wish for in Kashi? Bhupanam kaharane hitaha. What is desirable for a king in a battle? Kahavandyaha sarvadevanam. Who is prostrated by all gods? Ekam uttaram diyatam. One answer may be given. The answer is a person. We know the answer is Mrityunjayaha. The answer for the first question. Kimichati naraha kashyam. What does a person wish for in Kashi? Mrityum. death, because it is believed that death in Kashi results in salvation. In a battle, a king, what does he wish for? Jayah, victory. Sarvadevanam kahavandyaha, who is prostrated by all gods, Mrityunjayah. By combining Mrityu and Mrityum and Jayah, we get Mrityunjayah. Okay, now we come to today's lesson. That was quite a detailed recap. Sangrahya Vishayaha, Ganeshah. So every lesson we are learning a few. Last time we learned on Guru. Idanim Ganeshasya Vishaye Patamaha. Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadam Bhaktanam Ekadantamupasmahe. Punaha ekavaram pathami shrinvantu Uchchaihi vadantu. You can also chant along. Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantamupasmahe. Agaja Anana Padma Arkam. So let us split the verse. We can do it here only. Agaja Anana Padma Arkam Gajananam Aharnisham. Tatrapi Gaja Ananam Aharnisham Ahaha Nisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam. There are two different words. Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe. Let us see the meaning. The first word, Agaja Anana Padma Arkam. So this is what we call a samast or a compound word in Sanskrit, which has happened by combining so many words. And ultimately the meaning of the compound word, it is different, and there are different types of samasas. Tat Purusha, Bahuvrihi, Karmadharaya, etc. So it depends on that, on the rules of the samasa, on what exactly the ultimate resultant word is. Here, that we don't need to learn the rules of samasa here, but let's learn the constituent words. Agaja, Agaja, Agaha ityukte parvataha. So, Aga means mountain. In Sanskrit, it is very beautiful. Many times you see that the words are according to their characteristics. For example, let us take Aga only. Na gacchati iti agaha. That is again a samasa. Nai tat purusha samasa it is called. Na gacchati. It does not go or it does not move. Iti agaha. So a mountain is stationary, right? It has no motion. It doesn't move. So which is why it is a synonym for a mountain or a hill is aga. Na gacchati iti agaha. So for example, na satyam asatyam. So that is how na becomes a in the resultant samastapadam. So aga, mountain. Agaja, ja refers to born out of. Like Sarasija, Saroja. Saroja refers to something which is born in a pond, and it has become synonymous with a lotus. Right? So Neeraja, born in a born in water, Neera. So that way, here Agaja refers to born, who is born out of the mountain, that is goddess Parvati. Agaja, like Rama, Akaranta Strilinga. Agaja Ananam. Ananam ityukte mukham, vadanam, face. Agajayaha Ananam. So that becomes Agajananam. Okay, so the face of Parvati. What is it? It is like a Padma, lotus. So the beauty of the face of Parvati is compared to a lotus. It's very common in Sanskritam literature. We see that the beauty of a face is, or even hands, feet, they're compared to lotus. So the lotus faced Parvati. So that is what is referred to by Agajanana Padma. Arka, Arkaha ityukte Suryaha, S-U-N, sun. So Agajanana Padmarkaha. So this is, see, Agajanana Padmarkaha, it is a synonym for Ganesha. Though we have Agaja, Anana, Padma, Arkaha, 4 words, they combine together. The resultant word, Agajanana Padmarkaha is a synonym for Ganesha. How is it a synonym? We learnt Agajanana Padma, the lotus-faced Parvati, Arkaha, sun. So the one who is like a sun to the lotus-faced Parvati or to the lotus face of Parvati. Meaning we all know that flowers love the sun, right? They bloom, even lotuses bloom. Whenever there is sunlight, flowers bloom. So similarly, the sight of Lord Ganesha makes Goddess Parvati's mukham to bloom, right? So it is a beautiful description. And you see, that is the beauty of Sanskrit. So much explanation, which I need to give in English, is captured in this small quarter verse, right? 8 letters. Agajanana Padmarkam. It tells you so much. And there is so much grammar also in that word. Agaja, Goddess Parvati, daughter of the mountain. Ananam, face. Padma, lotus. So the beauty of her face, which is like a lotus. And the one who is like a sun to the lotus face of the one born out of the mountain. Which means the one who is like a sun to the lotus face of Parvati. And that is Ganesha. Okay, so Agajanana Padmarkaha. Arkam is Dvitiya Vibhakti. So Agajanana Padmarkam. Gajananam. Gajananam is elephant-faced one. Gaja Ananam. So he has Gaja as elephant. Ananam, he has the face of an elephant. So Gajananam. All are in Dvitiya Vibhakti here. Going further, I will ask you to identify the Vibhaktis. Here I'll tell you, we have not yet started Dvitiya. But going further, you should be able to identify which Vibhakti Vachana it is. So, Agajanana Padmarkam, Gajananam, Bhaktanam Anekadam. Bhaktanam, to devotees, Anekadam, bestower of many boons. Eka is one, Aneka, many. Anekadam, Da, again, Da Dhatu is to denote giving. So, the one who bestows many boons to his devotees. Tam, that Ganesha. Okay, so here that is how I think someone emailed me regarding this also from this class. It's not Anekadantam, Anekadam Tam. Of course, while chanting together, when you combine the Sandhi, you can chant it as Anekadantam. That would be because this Anuswara becomes, by Anuswara Sandhi, it becomes N. So Aneka Dantam while chanting together is correct. But the words are Anekadam Tam. It is not Aneka Dantam. That is not correct. This is a very common error. Anekadam Tam. Bhaktanam Anekadam Tam. That will be the prose order. Ekadantam. We know Ganesha has a single tusk. Many stories are associated with why he has a single tusk. So Ekadantam. Ahaha Nisham means morning and night. Ahaha morning, Nisham night. Upasmahe, we meditate or we worship. Upasana, again, it's a very, very difficult to give the exact translation of the word Upasana in English. It is not mere worship. It is not mere meditate. It is something done continuously, Upasana, over a period of time morning, night, and without a break. So Upasana is something which is more than mere worship or just meditation. So it's not possible. There are many words like this. We cannot give you an example. We should just understand it. If you're familiar with other Indian languages, Upasana is there in other Indian languages also. So the nearest is we worship or we meditate. So I hope you got the meaning correctly. So it means we worship him, the elephant-faced one, day and night, meaning we always worship him or we meditate upon him. He who is like the sun for the lotus face of Goddess Parvati, who grants several boons to devotees and who has a single tusk. So this is the meaning. While thinking of today's class, I was thinking maybe another way of interpreting. This is the common interpretation. But another way, just out of interest, I'm sharing with you. This is the explanation given in your textbook, what we just learned. Maybe we could also interpret it as Bhaktanam aharnisham anekadam. The one who grants day and night, the one who grants boons to his devotees. That is, if you give a different prose order, maybe we could interpret in that way also. But this is the common interpretation, what I gave you. Worshipping him day and night. Okay. Next verse on Ganesha again. If there is time at the end of the class today, I will make you all to read, a few of you to read the shlokas. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Punah ekavaram pathamaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. So here, let us see the words Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Again on Ganesha. Vakratunda. Vakra means bent or curved. Tunda, trunk, the one with a bent or a curved trunk. In this particular verse, all the synonyms to Lord Ganesha, they are all in what we call vocative case or Sambodhana Prathama Vibhaktihi. So when Sambodhana is to call, Hey Rama, Hey Ganesha. So Hey need not be there. Even without Hey, Rama, Krishna, Ganesha, they are all in Sambodhana Prathama, which is a part of Prathama only, part of nominative case, but it is used as to address someone, vocative case. He Vakratunda. Mahakaya, the one with a huge form or a huge body. Maha is big or huge. Kaya, form or body. Vakratunda Mahakaya. Koti Surya Samaprabha. Koti, crore. Surya, suns, S-U-N. Samaprabha, the one whose effulgence or brightness or luster is like that of a crore suns. So just imagine, we just can't look at one sun with our naked eyes, right? Because that level of energy we cannot take. And as a normal people, I'm saying, which is why in Gita, Bhagavan says, if you remember in the 11th chapter, Divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. While showing his Vishwarupa to Arjuna, Krishna says, I will bless you with divine eyes. Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. Because with normal eyesight of humans, you will not be able to see or bear that luster and that energy. So he says, Divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. He blesses him with divine eyesight, then shows his universal form, Vishwarupa. So here, Ganesha is described as someone who has the effulgence of 1 crore suns. Koti Surya Samaprabha. Also, please note, this is again Sambodhana Prathama. Just by itself, the word is Prabha, brightness. It is a Akaranta Strilinga Pada. But as a Samasta Padam, that is in a compound word, it is combining with other words to refer to Ganesha here. Koti Surya Samaprabha. Therefore, this word in the verse will be in Pullinga, Sambodhana Prathama Ekavachanam. Okay. We learned this. Prabha, one who has brightness. So, Koti Surya Samaprabha. Then, Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva. So we all know that Lord Ganesha is the Lord of obstacles, the one who removes obstacles. So Deva, O God, Me Nirvignam Kuru. Me means for me or Mahyam. It is another form of Mahyam, Chaturthi Vibhaktihi. Mahyam, for me. Nirvignam Kuru. Make it without obstacles. What should be made without obstacles? Sarva karyeshu, in all my works. Sarvada, always. Deva, Sarvakaryeshu sarvada me nirvignam kuru. So as you progress, you should be able to give the prose order for shlokas. So with this, it would be Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Deva Sarvakaryeshu sarvada me nirvignam kuru. So, O Lord, Sarvakaryeshu, in all my undertakings, in all my works, Sarvada, always, may, for me, Nirvignam Kuru. So, I hope this shloka is clear to you. We'll just see the meaning once. O Lord, elephant-faced one, the one with the curving trunk and a large body, the one with the brightness of a crore suns, remove all my obstacles from my work always. Okay? Okay, so that is the meaning of that verse. Now we will move to Katha. Okay. Chaturaha Kakaha. Katha is story. In each section, in each lesson, Katha api asti. Tatra Vangmaya Parichayah api asti asmin pathe. There is also what we call, introduction to Sanskrit literature. Prathama pathe tatra Vedanam Vishaye asmabhihi pathitam. Atra we study about Upanishads in the second lesson. We will do that in the next class. So that is in English. We will move to Katha now. That is story. Chaturaha Kakaha. Sarve Kripaya Pathantu. If there is time, I would wish to ask you to read it aloud also. So let me complete the meaning of the Katha story, and then maybe we can give you an opportunity to read the shlokas and the Katha aloud. Ekaha Kakaha Asti. Prathamataha Ekavaram Samskrita Bhashayam eva Pathami. Sarve Shrinvantu. Savadhanataya Shrinvantu. Tatra Arthaha Kaha Ityapi Chintayantu. So please listen. First, I will read the entire story in Sanskrit. I will not stop for English meanings. All of you please listen and also try to get the meaning by yourself while I'm reading it. Ekaha Kakaha Asti. Saha Bahu Trishitaha. Saha Jalartham Bhramati. Tada Grishma Kalaha. Kutrapi Jalam Nasti. Kakaha Kashtena Bahuduram Gachati. Tatra Saha Ekam Ghatam Pashyati. Kakasya Ativa Santoshaha Bhavati. Kintu Ghate Swalpam Eva Jalam Asti. Jalam Katham Pibami iti Kakaha Chintayati. Saha Ekam Upayam Karoti. Shila Khandan Anayati. Ghate Purayati. Jalam Upari Agachati. Kakaha Santoshena Jalam Pibati. Tataha Gachati. Okay, so please read it aloud. It's nice to listen to Sanskrit words. So now let us get the meaning of each sentence. Chaturaha Kakaha. Chaturaha, clever. Kakaha, crow. Chaturaha, clever, smart. It need not be in a negative sense. Chaturaha could be anything like clever, smart, intelligent. Ekaha Kakaha Asti. There is one crow. Saha Bahu Trishitaha. He is very thirsty. Trishitaha, thirsty. Saha Jalartham Bhramati. So he roams for water. Atra Pashyantu Asti Bhramati Nasti Gachati Pashyati Bhavati. Tatra Kriyapadani Sarvani Vartamanakali Santi. They are all in the present tense. We should also, every time we read from now on, we should know grammatically what that word is. Ekaha, one, Kakaha is Prathama Vibhaktihi Ekavachanam. It's like Rama Shabda, Akaranta Pullinga. Asti, Kriyapadam, Vartamana Kalaha. We should know those, how each word, what it is, we should be able to identify. Saha Bahu Trishitaha, Saha Jalartham Brahmati. He roams for water. Tada Grishma Kalaha. Then it was summer. Kutrapi Jalam Nasti. Nowhere is water to be found. There was no water anywhere. Kakaha Kashtena Bahuduram Gachati. Kashtena, with a lot of difficulty. The crow, Bahuduram, very far, Gachati. It goes very far with a lot of difficulty in search of water. Tatra Saha Ekam Ghatam Pashyati. There the crow sees a pot. Ekam Ghatam, one pot, the crow sees. Kakasya ativa santoshaha bhavati. The crow is extremely happy. Ativa, very happy. Kintu ghate. Kintu means however or but in English. Kintu ghate svalpam eva jalam asti. However, in the pot, ghate, saptami vibhakti ekavachanam. Ghate is saptami vibhakti. Locative case, it shows where something is. Ghate, in the pot. Svalpam eva jalam asti. There is little water only in the pot, and the crow can't, bend so much to get that water. Jalam katham pibami. How do I drink water? Katham ityukte, how. Jalam katham pibami. How do I drink water? Iti kakaha chintayati. The crow thinks thus. Chintayati, thinks. Saha ekam upayam karoti. He thinks of a plan, or upayam means any plan or solution. So he thinks of a solution. Karoti actually means does. But in English, when translating, we don't say he does a solution or he does a plan. Therefore, I said he thinks of a plan. Shila khandan anayati. So the crow brings Shila. Shila means rock. Khandan is pieces of rock, which means stone. Shila khandan anayati. The crow brings stones. Ghate purayati. It fills the pot with the stones. Jalam upari agachati. The water comes up. Kakaha santoshena jalam pipati. Kakaha, the crow, santoshena, with happiness, jalam pipati, drinks the water. Upari in the previous sentence means up, come up. Upari is up. Adhaha is down. Kakaha santoshena jalam pipati, tataha gachati. Then it goes. Okay, this is the meaning of this katha. So let me quickly take the questions, then we can ask you to read the verses and the katha. Yesterday, Kshamyatam, yesterday there was some confusion, I believe, regarding the class. So there was no link because there was no class yesterday. So if anybody tried to log in or didn't get the link, it's because yesterday's class was not there. You will have a class next Saturday. Bhaktanam is Shashti, like Ramanam. Ramasya Ramayoho Ramanam. So Bhaktasya Bhaktayoho Bhaktanam. In English, the vibhaktis do not translate very accurately many times. So the case is right, the vocative case, it translates, nominative also can translate, that is the first vibhakti. But after that, the usage in sentences can differ. So sometimes what we have in English may not correspond to what we have in Sanskrit and vice versa. So while translating in English, we give you what is the grammatical usage or correct usage in English, which may not be the exact vibhakti corresponding in Sanskrit. That we should remember. So to compare, English is not a very precise language to Sanskrit. But I know that some languages like Kannada and Telugu are very accurate to compare the vibhaktis. If you translate, it would be the same vibhakti, what you learn in Kannada or Telugu grammar, maybe other Indian languages also. Para Bhagini, no problem if you have joined the course late. As you know, we are not going fast. We are revising also. Dvivachanam of Vartamana Kalaha, we have actually covered in our introductory lessons on verb. So please go through that. And I reiterate, Dvivachanam is very important. The reason I am not covering Dvivachanam in this lesson is because for now, we started going according to the Pravesha textbook. And in the textbook, Dvivachanam is not covered in this lesson. So for now, we are following more or less the textbook pattern, but we have covered noun and verb in detail in the first introductory classes. So please go through that. Anne-Marie Bhagini, thank you. You've pointed out that there was a typo in Upasmahe. I will get that checked. Thank you for pointing that out, and sorry. I will check that. May, Padma Bhagini, Mahyam May, Mama May, both are there. Mahyam is and Mama is Shashti Vibhakti. So some Vibhaktis have more than one forms, especially in Asmad Yushmad Shabda. Some cases you have more than one form. So you have Mahyam Me in Chaturthi and Mama Me in Shashti. Okay, I don't know the name. Someone says anonymous attendee. So in Gita, Uttama Purushastvanyaha, that is a very different connotation there. There we are not referring to Prathama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, Uttama Purusha. There Bhagavan is referring to the Parabrahman or the Uttama Purusha as in the Purushottama, Bhagavan himself. But there he is not referring to the grammatical usage of Prathama Purusha, Madhyama and Uttama, what we are doing here in the course of Sanskrit grammar. So as there was a question whether it is the same as this Purusha, I had to answer that. Vinita Bhagini, Karoshi is Madhyama Purusha, not Uttama Purusha. Karoti, Kurutaha, Kurvanti, Karoshi. That is Madhyama Purusha. Karoshi, Kuruthaha, Kurutha, Karomi, Kurvaha, Kurmaha. That is how the table goes for Kri Dhatu. That is in the sense of doing. For Pravesha exam, you will have to remember the numbers given in the textbook. You don't have to remember what is outside the textbook, but what is given in the textbook, you'll have to know. Khalu means isn't it, Revati ji. Vatsala ji, the plural of ghatam is ghatani, right? Sorry, I think ghatam is, sorry, I will just check that. Ghataha must be, if it is, ghataha is pullinga, then it would be ghataha. I will just check whether it is ghatam or ghataha and get back to you in the next class. Ghate means in the pot, which means it is in Saptami Vibhaktihi Ekavachanam. That is the meaning. It is not a plural form. Okay. So now let us Ramji, yes, Nayati means to take or to lead, and Anayati means to bring. Okay, now why don't I request anyone, please, one of you could read the Lakshmi ji, please unmute. You could read the shloka for us, the first shloka we learned today.
Namaste.
Namaste. I will just go to that slide. Yes, Agajanana Padmarkam.
Okay.
Yes, this one.
Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe.
Uttamam Bhagini. Dhanyavadaha. Okay. Next, Priyadarshini ji. The next verse, please.
Namaste, Bhagini.
Namaste. Let us go to Vakratunda. Yeah.
Vakratunda Mahakaya.
Yes. Priyadarshini ji, we are unable to hear you. Priyadarshini ji, we lost your... Okay, I don't think I can see her. Okay, Anne-Marie Bhagini. Anne-Marie ji.
Namaste.
Yes, namaste.
Just a second. Okay. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvighnan Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha, Anne-Marie ji. Well chanted. Before we move, ghataha is a pullinga word, like I said. So ghataha, it is not ghatam, it is ghataha. So ghataha, ghate, ghataha. So that would be like Rama Shabda. Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha. So ghate is saptami ekavachanam. Here ekam ghatam pashyati. This is in dvitiya vibhakti. Like Ramam. Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramau, Raman. So that way ekam ghatam. That is in dvitiya vibhakti. Ghataha, pullinga word, plural would be ghataha. Okay, I hope that's clear. Now let us move to the story. Sheila Bhagini. Maybe you could read the first, maybe you can read till Bahuduram Gachati, till there.
एकः काकः अस्ति सः बहु तृषितः सः जलार्थं भ्रमति तदा ग्रीष्मकालः कुत्रापि जलं नास्ति काकः कष्टेन बहुदूरं गच्छति
Uttamam Sheila Bhagini.
Namaskaram, thank you.
Read very well. Yeah, dhanyavadaha. Okay, next let us see anyone else. Lakshmi Jayaraman Bhagini.
तत्र सः एकं घटं पश्यति काकस्य अतीव सन्तोषः भवति किन्तु घटे स्वल्पम् एवं जलम् अस्ति
तत्र भगिनी किन्तु घटे स्वल्पम् एव जलम् अस्ति पुनः एकवारं पठतु किन्तु घटे
स्वल्पम् एवं जलम् अस्ति
एवम् इति न
एव जलम् अस्ति
yes okay धन्यवादाः लक्ष्मी जी okay next Manasi Bhagini. Ram, you can read till Anayati.
Jalam katham pibami iti kakah chintayati saha ekam upayam karoti shilakandhanam anayati
Shilakandhan
anayati.
You are saying Shilakandhan. It is Shilakandhan. The Mahaprana is for K, not for D.
Shilakandhan anayati.
Shilakandhan. You abhyasam karotu. The thing is, you are saying Shilakandhan. It is Shilakandhan. Kha is Mahaprana, Da is Alpaprana. And we should not say both as Mahaprana. Kha is Mahaprana, Da is Alpaprana.
Yes.
Okay.
Shila
Okay.
khandan anayati.
Yes. Uttamam Bhagini. Idanim, you said it correctly. Dhanyavadaha. Just one last person for today, and then we will conclude the class. Anil Mahodaya.
Ram Ram Ram.
Ram Ram Ram.
घटे पूरयति जलम उपरि आगच्छति काकः संतोषेण जलं पिबति तथा गच्छति
Tataha gacchati. Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya. So all of you, please practice reading aloud and become more familiar with the language. So we will conclude as usual with Shanti Mantraha. Ataha means therefore. In the sense of hence, therefore. Someone has asked a question. Tataha means later. Okay, so let us conclude with Shanti Mantraha. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavadaha. Ram Ram Ram. Agami Ravivasare Punarmilamaha. Shanivasare Abhyasa Kakshya Bhavishyati. On Saturday, you will as usual have an exercise class. We will meet for the lesson next Sunday. Dhanyavadaha.